all my people. And if you're watching live, checking us out on YouTube, or listening on your favorite podcast provider, you are most definitely my people. Welcome to another episode of Botched, Bots, and Chair Shots. I am your host, a chef by trade and a mark by choice. I am the Will Gray, and joining me tonight, you can find him on MLW Underground on Reelz. He is the Suplex assassin, Alex Kane. Alex, how are you, man? Thanks for coming on and chat about
I'm
some
good.
wrestling.
I'm good. I'm ready to chat about some wrestling. Like I was saying before we started recording, I had this dope new ring light, so that's why I'm blue right now, and we're rocking with it. We're rocking with
I like it. We can be your guinea pig here. You can switch colors and play with it as it goes. It ain't gonna bother me none at all, man. I usually start these conversations with everybody. Kind of the icebreaker is where their exposure is and stuff like that, and I'll get to that part of the conversation. But I was just telling you, man, you've had a wild 7 to 10 days in your career. Let's hop right into it. First and foremost, you just got back wrestling in Mexico, a huge show between MLW and AAA and EMW. Let's kind of start there, man. What was Mexico like?
it was my second time being there. It was, I think it was even more of a cool experience, just because it kind of like it was Conan's birthday, like birthday show or whatever. So like even though they still do draw pretty well, they drew pretty well for that show. But it just felt different. I was a lot more confident this time around than I was the first time around. And it was just really, really fun being a heel.
When you get down there, coming from the states, do you notice I love in the. I cover a lot of independent wrestling. One of the things I'm fascinated about is even here in the Southeast, being in Nashville, we cross paths at one of the little indie promotions down here in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee. But when you go from little territory to territory and place to place, the crowds seem absolutely so different. Was there a huge difference for you when you got down into Mexico from what you're used to working with here in the States?
Most definitely. The crowds in Mexico, like, well, I've only wrestled in Tijuana, but like the crowd in Tijuana, they get it. They're not trying to overtake the show in any way, shape, or form. They're just reacting to what's going on. There's not, I mean, I don't know what "this is awesome" is in Spanish, but they're not chanting that or whatever. Like if you're a heel and they don't like you, or sometimes they do like you, and you gotta roll with that how you roll with that. Um, but they're respectful of the craft, and they're just there to be entertained. The luchadors and luchadores, like both of them, like they're out there to entertain. Like they're out there. They literally look like they're out there having the time of their life. Um, it's just a different vibe than here in the States, and I like their vibe.
Do you still get excited? Like when you're in the back before a show and you get to see, especially when you go somewhere like Tijuana and you get to experience like Luchador is such a, I guess like, I don't want to say a drastic change from like what American fans are used to, but Luchador and the Luchador style wrestling in Mexico is very unique to itself. When
Mm-hmm.
you get down there and you get to see these guys work, do you still get excited in the locker room before you go out?
Oh yeah, most definitely, most definitely. I mean, for me, like before a match, for me, my favorite thing is just hearing my music or whatever. Once I hear my music, I'm ready to fucking rock and roll. Um, uh, yeah, it's still exciting, and like it's becoming more exciting because now I'm able to like really be in the moment, and I'm not thinking about every spot that is going to go on in this match because now I can kind of think on my feet, so I can be present in the moment. The only thing I got to work on right now is not tuning out the crowd because that's still something that I've carried over from wrestling and amateur and in college especially, because you try to tune out the crowd when you're on the mat because you got to focus on the person in front of you. But like with professional wrestling, you don't want to tune out the crowd. You want to listen to the crowd. You kind of want to ride the wave and take them on that roller coaster.
uh, I love being in a crowd and being able to cover pro wrestling. It's an absolute great job. When you're working in the ring and you've got you and you've got your opponent and you've got the referee and you've got the crowd, do you feel like they all play an equal part in the story and what you're doing?
Oh, most definitely. Like I love a referee that is into the match. First of all, I love a referee that like comes to us like before and is like, "Hey, yo, like what's all going on in the match or whatever." And then especially a referee that reacts to everything going on. Like if a big move happens, he's like, "Oh crap," or whatever. You can see it on his face, and then like how he reacts to like sliding it over and counting the pin, and then like how you react to him and he reacts to you, and it's just a one big good time. And then just like I know like a lot of people in wrestling say there's no such thing as a bad crowd. I don't necessarily believe that myself. There are some bad crowds because you can do anything and everything under the sun, and they're just not getting with it. And anytime I come out to a crowd like that, I'm just like, y'all paid money to watch a wrestling show, and you're sitting on your hands. Disrespectful every time.
MLW just recently debuted on Reelz Tv. What was it like for you guys on that build up before Reelz and the TV deal took over?
Uh, for me, I guess from what I know, it's I don't know. For me, it's a cool experience because like I didn't think that I would be on national television this quickly or this early. And like when I signed, like we initially had like the Vice deal, but things happened with that I can't talk about. So like for management to finally secure something concrete and for us to kind of have that home of MOW Underground was pretty big for me. Like I skipped some of my duties at work that day just to get home so I could watch, watch that debut broadcast. So it's pretty dope that I'm on national television now.
What was the vibe in the locker room like for you guys, like leading up to that? That's a big deal. Like, we're gonna talk. I'm gonna ask you a question about it next. But like for you guys in the locker room, the excitement level for all of you to have a chance to be on that spotlight and to be on national TV.
Um, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Like the vibe in the locker room is always like high energy. Like everybody's like happy to be there, and we're all looking to just have the best show we possibly can. Um, the that show was, I guess, pre recorded or whatever, and then put on reels. So it's not like WWE or AEW where it's like live television. Like we get there that day, we're doing all the stuff or whatever. Like it's a full show online. It was a full show like a few Saturdays ago, a few months ago. Yeah, a few Saturdays ago, essentially. Um, and then like they put it on reels, but like we at that time we didn't know that this was gonna be on reels. We had no fucking clue. So we just try to keep things high energy regardless of what's going on.
Do you feel like right now there seems to be some pandering as far as the ranking and the peck and file? Do you feel like MLW is making a solid push for that number three spot right now with the TV deal coming up and the talent in the locker room and everything going on right now? Do you think MLW is trying to push themselves into that conversation?
I think already just with the TV deal alone and where Reels is kind of ranked within like all of the TV networks, because it's like in the top 20 of national networks. So like, I mean, I think we're already in that third brand spot, regardless of the talent. I mean, the talent on the MLW roster is amazing, even though some of them are hoes, but that's only in front of the curtain. But yeah, I definitely think we're definitely in that third brand spot. I don't care what anybody says about this company over here, that company over there. We're in that third spot.
Um, just keep rolling with it. The Bomaye Fight Club. What's it like right now? The chemistry between you guys, running a faction, and everything going on with that.
Well, so we kind of took a hit with Myron being released, and like I wouldn't say between me and Thomas, the morale is still high. We're still having fun. Uh, I absolutely loved working with Myron. I also absolutely love working with Thomas. Thomas has been there since day one for me. Day one of Boom Fight Club, not day one of my career in MLW. But I feel like, you know, with each time me and him hang out outside of wrestling, or each time we're on screen together, like we're just becoming more and more of a cohesive unit. So I'm excited to, expand. I'm excited to expand. I can't give you any word on that yet, but I do have my eyes peeled.
Um, let's take a look at you now. 2023. You kind of spoke a little bit on your amateur background. Uh, how did you adapt from your amateur background to becoming the suplex assassin?
The Suplex Assassin really does stem from my time wrestling, doing freestyle and Greco. I fell in love with throwing people. Throws and freestyle and Greco are way different from professional wrestling because they're a lot more dangerous because you're not worried about, keeping the other person safe. The other person could effectively die, and I mean, yeah, you feel bad, but like it's the heat of the moment. It's the part of the sport. Um, it made like the transition between that and professional wrestling extremely easy. Like I caught on to it really really quickly. I think the hardest thing was probably bumping because you're falling backwards. That's not natural. But as far as the mechanics of professional wrestling, I got that down in like 6 months.
uh, you have such an artillery and such a repertoire of the moves you use in the ring and stuff. Do you have a favorite one? Just one particular move that in every you're just like, man, I hope I can work this into the match somewhere.
The Xplex, release suplex. It's my favorite. I like launching people as high as I can, and I love when we get back to the back and they're like, it felt like I was in the air forever. And I'm like, yes.
uh, one of the things that goes with being a superstar, man, being on national TV, you've had a chance to hold gold. You held the MLW National Openweight title for over 200 days. What was that process like when you got that call and they were like, Alex, you're going to be the guy, you're going to get the strap?
Oh man, I love that you put it like this because a lot of people be trying to put it other ways, and I'm like, it is definitely a call from the higher ups, and it was a call. Court called me. Um, And like at first I thought I was in trouble. And I'm like, what the fuck did I do? Why is this man calling me?
When they call,
But
you're like, it's either really good or really bad, right?
yeah. And he was like, we're gonna because I because when I saw that I was in that ladder match for the title, like I was like, okay, who the fuck decided this? Because I only had like two other matches. Um So when he called me and he was like, "We're gonna put the rocket on you. We're gonna see what happens," and I literally got goosebumps. Like it was surreal. And then go out there and then like actually win it. Like that also felt surreal. Like even though I knew it was going to happen, and I always wondered that with like watching WWE and stuff. Like they obviously know that they're going to win the championship that night or whatever, but they still have that emotion of winning it. And I feel like for that, it's just like that journey in the match. Like you've put this thing together, but like now you have all the emotions and stuff baked into it. So like when I threw Alex Shelley off and I climbed the ladder and I grabbed it, and like the people were booing, and I loved that because I could hear the boos coming from the back of the building and like as a wave to the ring. But like I'm sitting on this ladder, standing on this ladder. I'm just like, we really just did this shit. We really just did this shit. We really just did this shit. And I was just excited from then on.
You held the belt, like I said, 229 days, man. Long ass title reign. What do you do as a superstar when you're going to hold the belt that long to stay fresh? Is it a match to match thing? Is it a feud or story to story thing? Like, how do you keep a title reign that's almost a year long so to keep it fresh with the crowd?
I think a lot of it has to do with like on-screen promos and stuff like that. Just trying to not speak in wrestler speak because I feel like a lot of people get trapped in that and they don't talk like real people. So I've always made it a point to use AAVE, African American Vernacular English. I mean, like, yes, people my skin color use it, and then also people call it Gen Z slang. It's not Gen Z slang, but it is what it is. So people are speaking that language, and I try to use as much of that as I possibly can um, to be relatable. I try not, and I try not to be corny in any way, shape, or form. Sometimes you can't escape it, but I just try to be real with the people watching. so that they have something to identify with, whether I'm baby or heel. I mean, I'm a I'm a heel, but motherfuckers still like me for some reason. I don't get it.
I hear a few guys, they've said to me, and we've talked about it, and they've said it's easier to get them to hate you than it is to get them to love you. Do you think that's true?
No, I don't. It's actually easier to get them to like you than it is to get them to hate you. Because like you can go out there, you can curse them out, you can flip them off or whatever. And sometimes fans are just confused. Like, okay, all right. Uh, and like you'll get nothing from them. But like if they're watching you in the ring or whatever, and you just have like a presence about you, like they're instantly they feel that, they can see that, they can identify with that. But like you got to be really really good at what you're doing to really get them to hate you, to get like good heat, not cheap heat but good heat.
So let's talk about Davy Boy. You guys have started 2023 off with two absolute bangers, the match at Blood and Thunder and then the one at Super Fight. What was it like building up a feud with him? Like the stories and
um
having those matches?
it's I've enjoyed the matches that I've had with him. We have really, really good chemistry. As far as like the feud and stuff goes, like I'm glad that it's personal for him. Like I've taken a family heirloom from him. I've damaged it. I'm toting it around like I own it. Like because I own it. Um and I'm basically holding it hostage. And like that's like somebody taking taking something that you hold dearly. Like maybe someone steals your car or whatever, and they're filming all these videos and stuff like that. Like, hey yo, I got your car, you a hoe, you can't have it back, yada yada yada. Like you feel that. So it's like it all feels very very real from that standpoint. The matches have definitely been nuts. And like yeah, you just I don't know. People just gonna have to watch them and see them when when they air. But the matches have been nuts, like you said, total bangers.
Looking at it from that perspective, I mean, talking about Davy Boy and the family history he's had in '92, it was him and Brett. It was very personal. It was at SummerSlam, and now looking at what you guys have done, when you have a chance to do these really just passionate, just real stories, do you ever go back and watch tape and see what they did 25 years, 30 years ago to see how they did it then?
Nah, not really. I'm really I'm probably gonna get some shit for this, but I'm not super keen or like really like interested in looking so deep into the past because like what worked in the past because of the time in which they lived, how society was, how pop culture was, how social culture was then, and it's so different now. So like, and I mean, sure, some of the things that they did back then that worked then still work now, but like I want to create anew, like reinvent the wheel a little bit, and not always like reach back then to do what they did. Because if I'm a firm believer in if the way that they did things was as amazing as it was, then it never would have changed. It would still be the same today. We wouldn't have to reach back. We'd just be doing the same stuff that they were doing.
So, kind of playing
Someone's
off.
gonna roast me for that on
Somebody's
a
going to hear it
microphone.
and they're going to come for you.
Yep.
Um, so just kind of playing off that, then, do you feel like some of the things, I don't want to say from the old ways or the territory days, do you think wrestling's evolved beyond some of those old wives' tales, though, in wrestling? Like making the new guy carry your bags or having to ride in the cars with the old guys, and like, do you think some of these old wives' tales have kind of become outdated in 2023?
Definitely outdated, and also they don't really. I don't think like those things don't happen. I mean, from my experience, those things don't happen anymore. It's not needed, and because it's not like territory. It's not territory based or whatever. Sure, it may happen in like WWE or AEW. Hopefully not. But as far as like where I am in MLW and like the independents. Nobody does that. We all know what this is and what we got into and what we're doing. There's no reason to like make somebody feel like they're less in the locker room or on the road. Like we're all in this together, or we should be all in this together.
All right, Alex.
It's a lot.
Oh,
It's a lot more of like a pot. Really, ever since the speaking out thing happened, like wrestling has been a lot more positive of a place because we've got a lot of those dirt bags out. We're still trying to get more of those dirt bags out, but it's been more of like a positive vibe.
I have to. It might not be an exact apples to apples comparisons, maybe an apples to oranges, but there's going to be some similarities there. I'm from the culinary in my past. I was a chef, and
Hmm.
when some of that same stuff happened, we saw the same thing happening to a lot of the chefs that were kind of old school in their ways and had kind of been a little bit sleazy. I'll call a spade, right? Like some of these
Hmm.
guys were creeps and they were getting called out and they were getting taken out of the industry for it. So it wasn't just wrestling where it happened. So to have seen it in my career too, like it's kind of refreshing to feel that weight kind of removed from it. So I mean, I get what you're saying, having seen it on mine. I'm gonna ask you a question now. This is usually the first question I ask everybody in the interview, but like I said, the majority of our talk we knew was going to be geared towards what was going on with MLW. One of my favorite things though is finding out what was your exposure like to wrestling as a kid. What did you watch when you were growing up?
My I guess the first exposure that I had was a VHS. It was called Stone Cold's Demolition. I got it at a yard sale. I Look, I knew some. I really didn't know all the characters and stuff like that, but like I knew some. Like I saw like my older brother playing like SmackDown Just Bring It with his friends and stuff like that. But like I didn't know how to like approach them to be like, hey, I want to play the game too. So it was more of watching Stone Cold's Demolition all the time. And then, I got into the action figures. Um, and then one day they let me play the video game. I think it was SmackDown Know Your Role. Um, and I was hooked. Not so much on the in-ring stuff. I was trying to go up the ramp and go backstage for some odd reason. Don't ask me why. I don't fucking know why to this day. Um, but yeah, like it was mainly like the video games and the toys. Like I used to trade the action figures with a kid at school. Um, I didn't really start sitting down and like really watching a product till I was like maybe like eighth grade-ish, maybe eighth grade. Um, so and like the match that I kind of remember the most, I don't. I'm not. I couldn't give you a play-by-play of it, but like it stuck in my mind. Taker versus Jeff Hardy for the Undisputed Championship on Raw. I remember I was watching it with my dad, and I was like, "Yo, that's what I'm gonna do with my life one day."
Just a ladder match,
Um,
right?
yeah, ladder match.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was like, "Well, look, if you apply yourself, you do what you got to do or whatever. You can do anything you want." So that stuck with me to kind of have that cosign a little bit. And look at me today.
You're living the dream, man. Like, I mean, in reality, you are. I mean, at least to me, you get to wrestle full time. You're on TV now. You're the suplex assassin. Fuck it, Alex Kane's the man in my book. So I close all of my interviews with 5 random questions, though. Most of the time, not having anything to do with wrestling, but I've got your 5 queued up. You ready?
All right.
Do you think pineapple belongs on pizza?
Damn right. Damn right it belongs on pizza. You need that salty and savory action going on in your mouth.
Do you believe in aliens?
I do. I do. I think they may be within our galaxy, just chilling and waiting or whatever, but they see that we on some bullshit, so they ain't coming down. Or there's so many light years away that with the Earth that they're looking at still has dinosaurs on it. It's one of the two.
What's the best movie you've seen most recently?
Ooh. Hold on. Babe, Milena, what movie did we watch recently? What movie did we watch recently? Okay, I guess we haven't watched the movie recently. We've really been watching. We've been binging series and stuff.
All right, then what TV show are you watching?
We've been watching the 1619 Project on Hulu. It's a really really good watch.
Nice. You'd be amazed when I ask that question how many guys have called off screen to their significant others to be like, hey, what was the name of that movie we just watched? Yeah. Like, you're not the first person to do that. That's funny to me.
Good.
Who is your favorite musical artist or performing group?
Man, I don't necessarily have like a favorite musical artist. I do have a favorite song, and that song is called "Came and Saw." It's Young Thug and Young Rebel, a Rowdy Rebel. And I literally listen to it like every day, over and over and over again. It just makes me feel good.
All right, Alex, your last one. This one did have to do with wrestling, just out of curiosity for me. What's your favorite venue you've ever had a chance to wrestle in?
It is a tie between the Crash and the 2300 Arena.
I think the 2300 is always up on everybody's list when you have a chance to wrestle there. All right, man, this is my favorite part. I don't have to say anything. I just tell you to plug your stuff, put yourself over, tell everybody what you've got going on and coming up.
All right. So Twitter at Alex_Kane11. Follow me. I'm funny. I post wrestling stuff and I post booking graphics because people should put me on their shows. Instagram, the Suplex Assassin. TikTok at Suplex_Supremacy because Suplex overall. My merchandise is on brainbustertees.com /Alex Kane, and then also MLWshop.com. Next weekend, I'll be at Paradigm Pro Wrestling in Indiana. Indiana. Is it Sellersville? I don't fucking know. I just know it's Indiana. It's at the arena. If you know Paradigm Pro Wrestling, you know the fucking arena. It's at the damn arena. Damn, what else do I have? Let's see. I don't keep up with these things. I just show up when I need to show up. I've got the Scenic City Invitational. I won't be in the tournament so much. I'll have a grudge match against two hoes named AC Mack and Jaden Newman.
That's down in Chattanooga, right?
Yeah. I think this will be in like Noonan. This will be in Georgia. I know it'll be in Georgia.
That's just right down the road from me. That's why I cut you off. I was like, holy shit, that's like an hour and a half from where I'm sitting right now.
And then I'll be action wrestling the next week. I'm actually going to an elementary school on Thursday, and I'm reading The Youngest Marcher to a bunch of second graders, I think, for Black History Month. So that should be cool, too.
That's awesome. Well, Alex, man, I appreciate you just coming by and chatting about some wrestling with me, man, and hanging out for a little bit.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent.
It's been a long time coming.
It has been. We've been in the works for a little bit now, but I'm glad we could finally knock it out.
And I changed the light to purple.
Set the mood right. But
the mood.
For the Suplex Assassin Alex Kane, I'm the Will Gray. Thanks for stopping by and listening, my people.